Hello people, and welcome back to another video. Hope you are all well and having a good week. First of all, I just want to thank everybody who's joined the website. The feedback's been phenomenal, and the people who stuck by my site, I just want to thank yous. And the new members have been amazing. The forum, people are talking, and I'm generating traffic, so I'm just so happy that this relaunch in my website has been pretty successful. Skepticmedia.com, guys, if you haven't checked it out. And a big shout out to Don, and you know who you are, mate, and thanks for all the help, and just been really active in my website. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and just thank everybody, and it's been brilliant, guys. I'm just so happy it's not been a wasted time. Anyway, back to the main subject of the video. I just wanted to share something with you guys because it kind of bugs me when I get these ideas in my head and these things, and sometimes they disappear forever. Sometimes I lose them, so I just need to get them onto video, share them with you, and not let these things disappear, because I do so much research, people. I can do something like this, looking at something like this, read a book, and then forget what was researching beforehand. And like I said, I need to get it out there. So anyway, you know, I look at Google Earth to do a lot of my research, and I've been in this area quite a lot recently. I was actually close to this area on Christmas Eve at Selkirk, and I wasn't that impressed with the place, I've got to be honest with you guys. But looking in the area, I thought there must be something decent in this area, and I found this loch. And as you can see, guys, it was probably a bigger loch at some stage. You can see the sort of outline there, but look at that. Look at that. It's like an entrance to somewhere. But that's not the thing that got me thinking, guys. It's the name of the loch. So Essenside Loch. When I seen the name of this loch, guys, the first thing that popped into my head was the Essenes. The so-called Jewish mystical group. The Essenside Loch. And I think that's the Essenside burn that runs into it. But you can see this was a larger loch at one point. And also you can see there was probably some kind of fort, castle or something on the top of this hill, because this hill overlooks the loch. And like I said, there's some kind of little entrance, so I'm definitely going to go down to this area and have a look, guys. But like I said, it was a name that got me thinking. It's Essenside Loch. So it got me thinking of the Essenes from the Bible, and we'll have a look at them. So we've got the Wikipedia and we've got the Britannica, but the Wikipedia is good just for a brief. So we'll have a look at the Essenes if you haven't heard of them. The Essenes are Essenoi, Osoi, or a mystic Jewish sect during the Second Temple period that flourished from the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century CE. Jewish historian Josephus records that the Essenes existed in large numbers. Thousands lived throughout Roman Judea. They were fewer in number than the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the other two major sects at the times. The Essenes lived in various cities but congregated in communal life, dedicated to voluntary poverty, daily immersion, and asceticism. The priestly class practiced celibacy. Most scholars claim they seceded from the Zadokite priests. So, most scholars claim they seceded from the Zadokite priests. Well, I didn't class myself as a scholar, but I would claim that they possibly secede from the Druidic British priests, or the Celtic priests, who have their roots in the Druids. And you'll be wondering why I'm thinking that. Anyway, we'll keep reading this article and we'll go back to why I think these Essenes are linked to Celtic monks and Druids. The Essenes have gained fame in modern times as a result of the discovery of an extensive group of religious documents known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are commonly believed to be the Essenes Library. These documents preserve multiple copies of parts of the Hebrew Bible, untouched from possibly as early as 300 BCE until their discovery in 1946. So I've always questioned the authenticity of these Dead Sea Scrolls. And I think this is just a way to hide the real identity of the Essenes, these Dead Sea Scrolls, by placing them in the Middle East, by placing these people in the Middle East, rather in the real place, in Britain, in Europe. The first reference to the sect is by the Roman writer Pliny the Elder, died 79 CE, in his Natural History. Pliny relates in a few lines that the Essenes possesses no money, had existed for thousands of generations, and that their priestly class, contemplatives, do not marry, unlike Philo, who do not mention any particular geographical location of the Essenes other than the whole land of Israel. So they didn't mention any particular geographical location for them, so they didn't know where they were, other than the whole land of Israel. And like we said, people, we've speculated that Britain could be Israel. Pliny places them somewhere above Ein Gedi, next to the Dead Sea, obviously because they found the Dead Sea Scrolls of it. Anyway, that's just a brief look at the Essenes. The Essenes, member of a religious sect or brotherhood that flourished in Palestine from the 2nd century BC to the end of the 1st century AD. And like I said, guys, down the area that we're looking at, it's got these pale towers, these pale towers, and I think there was a pale down there as well. The New Testament does not mention them, and accounts given by Josephus, Philo of Alexandria, and Pliny the Elder sometimes differ in significant details, perhaps indicating a diversity. Nah, what it indicates is there's something going on here that they're trying to hide, that existed among the Essenes themselves. The Essenes clustered in monastic communities that, generally at least, excluded women. Property was held in common and all details of daily life were regulated by officials. The Essenes were never numerous. Pliny fixed the number at about 4,000 in his day. Like the Pharisees, the Essenes meticulously observed the law of Moses, the Sabbath, and the ritual purity, which is a bit like the old British priests, which observed the law of Moses. They also professed belief in immortality and divine punishment for sin. But unlike the Pharisees, the Essenes denied the resurrection of the body and refused to immerse themselves in public life. With a few exceptions, they shunned temple worship and were content to live ascetic lives of manual labour and seclusion. The Sabbath was reserved for day-long prayer and meditation on the Torah, first 5 books of the Bible. Oaths were frowned upon, but once taken, they could not be rescinded. So, we have the Essenes. So what connects this Jewish cult to this loch? Well, we need to find out what the root of the word is. S, and it's telling you here in Hebrew, it's Essene, Greek, it's just forget all that, people. We've already established that we're in an area where S is quite a frequent word. With Essene loch, with S. So S. And close by, we've got Ashkirk. So why is Ashkirk important to this? Well, people, I have made the connection. The word S is actually ash. So the S name of ancient Norman origin, it arrived in England with the Norman conquest of the 1066. The S family lived in close proximity to an ash tree. So there we go, we've got the ash. So S and ash. There's the connection there in the Germanic languages, the Norman languages, which was obviously Romance language, the Norman. So S, from the Middle High German esh, or ash, from Old High German ash, from Proto-Germanic ashkaz, or askaz, ash tree. So S, ash tree, askaz, and by ashkaz, like Ashkenazi, And then again, when I seen the Askas, I thought of Ashkenazi. Ash tree, cognate with German Esch, English ash. The ash tree. So, I link this group, the Essenes, to the ancient Celts, and probably from the ancient Celtic priests who descend from the Druids, who worshipped the ash tree, because the ash tree was sacred to the Celts. The ash. So the ash tree features strongly in Irish mythology. The Mount of Ash, the Rowan or Quicken tree, is particularly prominent in Scottish folklore. There are several recorded instances in Irish history in which people refused to cut an ash, even when wood was scarce, for fear of having their own cabins consumed with flame. The ash tree itself might be used in May Day, Beltane rites. So, it was important in the Druidic festivals as well, the ash. Under the Old Irish word nin, which you never know, maybe Saint Ninian was something to do with this group, the Essenes. The ash also give its name to the letter N in the Ogham alphabet. Together with the oak and thorn, the ash is part of a magical trilogy in fairy lore. Ash seed pods may be used in divination, and the wood has the power to ward off fairies, especially in the Isle of Man. In Gaelic Scotland, children were given the astringent sap of the tree as a medicine and a protection against witchcraft. Some famous ash trees were the tree of Ushneck, the bough of Dathie, and the tree of Tortu. The French poet who used Breton sources, Mary de France, late 12th century, wrote a lay about an ash tree. The Proto-Celtic for ash was onos, Old Irish nin, Irish funsog, Scots Gaelic funshun, Manx unjun, Welsh onon, Cornish onon, Breton onon. So, these Proto-Celtic words for ash were onon, nin, Irish. But it seems to be that the Germanic word ash, connects. So the Normans could have called these people the S. It doesn't mean the people themselves called themselves the S. They probably had their own name for themselves. But the conquering Normans probably found these people on their crusade and called them the S, the Ash. So, let's have a look at the hill of Ushneck. The hill of Ushneck, or Ushne. Ush. This is where ash comes back into the language. So you're thinking all of a sudden, right, so it's Germanic, right? Ash, S, Germanic. But in Irish, it's Ush. And you'd say, well, why is it Ush? Well, where's the connection with the ash tree and the hill of Ushneck and Ushne? Is a hill an ancient ceremonial site in the barony of Rathconrath in County Westmeath, Ireland. It is a protected national monument. It consists of numerous monuments and earthworks, prehistoric and medieval, including a probable megalithic tomb, burial mounds, enclosures, standing stones, holy wells, and a medieval road. Ushneck is near the geographical centre of Ireland, and in Irish mythology it is deemed to be the symbolic and sacred centre of the island. So this place, very important. Ushne, or the hill of Ushne. It was said to be the burial place of the mythical Tuatha Dé Danann, and a place of assembly associated with the Druids in the festival of Beltane. The summit is 182 metres, 597 feet above sea level, and lies north of the R390 road, 8 kilometres east of the village of Ballymore. And there's loads of these places with Ball. And beside the village of Lona Valley, the hill occupies parts of 4 adjacent townlands: Ushna Hill, Mira, Rathnew, and Kellybrook. So there's Ush again. And this is where ash comes from, Ush. So we've got a sign here saying the Hill of Ushnick, site of Celtic festival of Beltane, ancient place of assembly, St Patrick's Church, sacred centre of Ireland in pagan times, site of Druidic fire cult, seat of high kings. So the Ash, the Hill of Ushnick, the Essenes, is this the ancestral home of the Essene? Is this the ancestral home of the Essene? I'll maybe throw that out there. The Ushne, the Essenes, the Ushne. The hill is called the Ushne in both Irish and English, with the alternative Irish name Knock Ushne, meaning Hill of Ushnick. It is also anglicised as Ushne, such as in the name of the townland. In Old and Middle Irish it was spelled Ushnick. Eric P. Hamp derives the name from Proto-Celtic Us Tin Acco, meaning place of the hearth or place of cinders. Well, this guy, Eric P. Hamp, has got it wrong. Derived it from Ostinaco, meaning angular place. No, it means ash trees. The site consists of a set of monuments and earthworks spread over 2 square kilometres. About 20 are visible, and the remains of at least 20 others have been identified under the ground. They include a probable megalithic tomb, burial mounds, enclosures, standing stones, holy wells, and a medieval road. They date from the Neolithic to the early Middle Ages, showing that the site has been the focus of human activity for about 5,000 years. Several sites were excavated in the 1920s by R.A.S. McAllister and R. Prager. The summit has panoramic views from which hills in at least 20 counties can be seen. On the summit is the remains of a probable megalithic tomb known as St Patrick's Bed, which was once surrounded by a ring ditch. Downslope to the east is a small lake known as Loch Lugh or Loch Lugborta, and on a rise east of this is a burial mound known as Carn Lugdac, which was also surrounded by a ring ditch. South of these are 2 holy wells, one of which is known as Tober Naslach or Toba Naslath, and sits beside a circular enclosure in standing stone. On the southwest side of the hill is a large oddly shaped limestone rock, a glacial erratic almost 6 metres 20 feet tall and thought to weigh over 30 tonnes. In prehistory, an earthen bank was dug around it to mark it out as a special place. In Irish it is called the Alna Moraine, Stone of Divisions. It is said to have been where the borders of the provinces met. It is nicknamed the Cat Stone, allegedly because it resembles the shape of a sitting cat. Or maybe this is where the word Catholic. The biggest monument at Ushnick is Rathnew, the remains of a figure of 8-shaped earthwork. An early medieval road leads towards Rathnew from the foot of the hill. Rathnew was originally one round enclosure marked by a ditch with an eastern entrance. Inside it were several pits containing partly burnt animal bones and sealed with large flat stones. It appears that fires had been kindled and then suddenly quenched with water or soil in a ritual. There was also a large ash bed containing thoroughly charred animal skeletons. This appears to have a sanctuary site in which fire was kept burning perpetually, or kindled at frequent intervals, where animal sacrifices were offered. Later in the early medieval period, a large figure of 8-shaped earthwork was raised on this site. It was a large round enclosure with a smaller round enclosure joined to it, marked by a bank and a ditch. Within each closure was a small stone building and a souterrain. It is suggested that Rathnew at this time was a place of royal and religious gatherings, and may have served as a royal residence of the kings of Meath during these gatherings. The clan Colmain chieftains who became kings of Meath were styled kings of Ushnick in early medieval king lists. There's also Tuair u Cobney, Coffey's Tower after the Brehon Law o Cobthey family, who were known as the Fili or Olams of Ushnick. In Irish mythology, Ushnick is described as the sacred centre of Ireland, the burial place of Irish gods such as Lugh and the Dagda, the site of a sacred tree, the Baal Ushnick, and a place of assembly, the Mordel Ushnick, associated with Druids, which, according to later tradition, was held during the festival of Beltane. The Ale na Moraine, Stone of the Divisions, in particular is described as the navel of Ireland. It is seen as a kind of omphalos or axis mundi of Ireland, a meeting place between the earth and the other world, and the source of creation. It is said to have marked the meeting point of the provinces. And it goes on, guys, it's really interesting actually. The Din Senka's Lore of Places says that the Usnek is a place where the Druid Mead lit a sacred fire that blazed for 7 years. The tale, Tuacht Bel Monag, Mong's Frenzy, describes how a great hailstorm during an assembly on the hill created the 12 chief rivers of Ireland. In the Liber Gabala Erin, the Book of Taking of Ireland, the Gaels Milesians meet the goddess Eru at Usnek, where, after some conversation and drama, the Milesian poet Amargin promises to give the land her name. She is said to be buried under the Ale named Marianne. In mythology, Usnek and Tara are said to be linked. In the literature, Tara is mainly associated with royal power, while Usnek is mainly associated with spiritual power. Anciently, both locations had festivals or meetings every 7 years. The Feast of Tara at Samhain, and the Great Meeting of Usnek at Beltane. In the Feast of Tara, new laws were passed and councils formed. It was linked to Tara by the ancient road called the Slay a Sail. The modern R392 road mostly follows its route. The tragic tale of Deirdre and the sons of Usnek, or the sons of Uslu, Nace, Ardan and Ainlay, is part of the Ulster cycle of Irish mythology. Geoffrey of Monmouth's Historia Regum Britannia, History of the Kings of Britain, says that Stonehenge originally stood at the hill of Kildare, Mons Calaros in Ireland, before being moved to Ireland. This is thought to refer to Usnek, as Kildare is a place at the foot of the hill. So, the sacred tree is interesting. What was it called? The Bel Usnek. And it'll probably be an ash tree. I've not even researched this, people, but it'll probably be an ash tree. So we'll have a look, see what this was. Irish trees and mythology and folklore. Irish trees and mythology and folklore are often celebrated for the numerous benefits they provide for the environment. However, the Celts cherished trees long before the environmental values were discovered, which can be seen through the mythology and folklore. Plant an Irish oak memorial tree in memory as an enduring gesture to help heal the heart and the planet. Click here for more information. A handwritten card will accompany. The Irish love for trees is reflected across the country, as over 10,000 places in Ireland contain a tree in their name. This includes the county of Derry, whose name evolved from the Gaelic name for a place of oak trees. It is believed that our fascination and admiration for Irish trees stemmed largely from the fact they serve as symbols for pure human life, as they too are living beings that fight to live and grow. In particular, their deep respect for trees can be seen throughout their history. One of the earliest examples that showcase the Celts' appreciation for trees is the Ogham alphabet, which was used to write the early Irish language. Every letter of the Ogham alphabet is associated with a tree that begins with a sound that letter depicts. Out of the Ogham alphabet grew the Celtic tree calendar, which consists 13 months, each of which is symbolised by a tree in its Ogham letter. The roots of the calendar lie within the ancient Celtic folklore. Irish folklore and mythology is saturated with tributes to trees. According to Celtic mythology, a tree, in particular hazel tree, was the first creation on earth. The first Irish hazel tree, which grew upon the Well of Wisdom, was said to have held all the knowledge of the universe within its branches. When a salmon in the Well of Wisdom ate the nuts that fell from the hazel tree, it attained all the knowledge of the universe that the tree bore, becoming the salmon of knowledge. The legend goes that the first man to eat this salmon would have all the knowledge passed on to them. The man to do so was Fionn McCummell, who later used this knowledge to become the leader of Fianna, a band of famed warriors in Irish mythology. The story continues with Fionn's son, Oisin, who went on to marry Nam, the daughter of the king of Tir na Nog. Oisin travelled with Nam back to Tir na Nog, a Celtic otherworld known as the land of the young, where the trees stay green and the people never age. After 300 years, Oisin travelled back to Ireland, where he immediately aged into a withered old man when he touched the ground and filled with sadness upon hearing the news that his father, Fionn, and all of Fianna had died. Oisin spent the last of his days telling tales of his father and Fianna, as well as Name and Tirna Na, which continued to live on this day. Yet the Irish folklore tales regarding trees do not end there. Due to their extraordinary structure, with their roots spreading underground and their branches reaching high in the sky, ancient Celts perceived trees as doorways to the underworld and heavens. They also believed Irish trees were home to the spirits of their ancestors, such as trees in ancient Ireland believed to be protectors. 5 Irish trees in particular were known as guardian trees of Ireland, which sheltered each of the 5 provinces. Celtic folklore describes the guardian trees of Ireland as follows: Eo Magna, oak tree; Beal Tortan, ash tree; Eo Rue, yew tree; Craib Dathi, ash tree; Craib Usnik, ash tree. So we've got 3 ash trees there, guys. Legend says these trees grew from seeds given by a descendant of the other world. So out these trees, the oak tree, the ash tree, the yew tree, the ash tree, and the ash tree again. Irish ash trees were cherished for their strength and healing powers. So guys, the Essenes, the Ashians, the Ushians, the hill of Ushnick, were the Essenes from Ireland, and then came to Scotland, spreading their beliefs, and then was swatted by crusaders, should we say. Anyway guys, I'm just putting it out there some things I was thinking about. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much, and thanks for all the new members. Like I said before, jedskepticmedia.com. Sign up guys, it's free.